I hope I'm live. I think so. May I be heard? I'm not sure if I can be. Oh, yay! Okay. Well, this is weird. Peace, Brother Antonio. Peace, Sister Kashia. Peace, Sister Manera. Peace, Sister Deidre. Okay. Peace, Sister Precious. Watessa, greetings. Welcome. Peace, Chief. Okay. All right. So I guess I'll start now. Okay. So, hello, everyone. My name is Tracie, Tracie. Peace, Zach. Peace, Anu. So tonight I will be reviewing a movie titled Sylvia. It was released in 2008, 2018, about 2 years ago. It's a Nollywood film, basically meaning that the film originates from Nigeria. So me personally, I like watching psychological thrillers because I like to go on the journey of understanding various characters and why they are behaving the way they do, and just kind of figuring out the hidden messages and what's going on. Okay, so I'll begin. So the movie begins with a quote by the artist Salvador Dali: "When we are asleep in this world, we are awake in another." So the first scene begins with the nurse who's working at a psychiatric hospital, and she's walking around and passing out little pieces of foil to patients in a basket. Maybe it's a piece of candy or something. Peace, Sister Moksha. Welcome. So it could be a piece of candy or something. I'm not sure. So not too long after, she goes over to the main character, whose name is Richard, and he's writing on a pad with a chessboard in front of him. And Nurse Karen's asked, like, what are you writing? And he pulls back in his chair, pulling the notepad closer towards him. And she goes along to say, like, why are you here? You know, you don't belong here. Like, he doesn't look moony. And he's like, you know, the truth can be stranger than fiction. So she goes on to say, you know, I just got off of work. I got time. What's the story? You know, put me on. Then he proceeds to tell his story. You know, it all started from childhood. Doesn't it always? Right? So you see, he's spending time in nature with a little girl his age. And in the next scene, his mother wakes him up. And you kind of see that pattern occurring throughout the movie. He goes to sleep, hangs out with this girl, and he wakes up. So this indicates that this woman, who we know as Sylvia, is from his dreams. And you catch that early on. Okay. So, you know, Sylvia is someone that he can trust, someone that he can tell his fears. And, you know, anything that's going wrong, she's like, don't worry, I can fix it. You know, just say the word, I'll make it happen. So basically, she's his spirit wife. And one of the key points of the movie is prior to Richard leaving her in the dream, she would always give him a flower. And it's always the same flower, which is a red hibiscus. So later on in the movie, you know, Sylvia explains the meaning of the red hibiscus. And she says that it is the flower of the Hindu goddess Kali. And some say that she represents sexuality, violence, motherly love. But she's also known as the destroyer of unreality. Peace, Yakuya. Welcome. So, okay. So according to Brother Lowe, he was basically comparing Sylvia to an Orisha. He's like, she's basically an Oya. She wore a lot of red in the movie. Sometimes Richards go by Dick. Was that something they were trying to allude to? And what was he thinking with at times? Possibly. Brother Zach. So, so Brother Lowe was saying that, like, he was thinking that Sylvia is basically an Orisha. Like, she's Oya. She wore a lot of red in the movie. She was the destroyer, the planter of power. And, she basically takes what she wants, and she wanted Richard. And, Brother Lowe was saying that, the red hibiscus was sacred to Sylvia. It was her symbol, kind of like giving yellow roses to Oshun. So that's the comparison. Okay, so at this point, Richard is an adult. He's working for this advertising firm. He just landed this big account with the client. He's young, he has fresh new ideas, he's innovative, and all that good stuff. So, his boss is proud of him for doing that and tells him, go ahead and take the rest of the day off. So he goes to get a bite to eat, and he sees this woman sitting down reading a book. They lock eyes, and after he gets his food, he asks if it's okay if he could sit down. She says sure, and as the story goes, right, they fall in love. So now, before she was angry, she wore soft colors like pink. Before evolving to that red, like the different aspects of Kali. Interesting. Cool. I didn't peep that. Thanks, Sister Kashia. Greetings, Shamalis. Is that Shamalis? Shamik? Probably, I think so. Peace. Okay, so now he's dreaming, and Sylvia asks, like, do you like her? And he's like, I love her. And Sylvia's like, what about us? And he's like, what about us? What do we have? You ain't even real. And you're like, you're bugging. Did you really think we could settle down and have children? So she's hurt. She's like really torn into shreds. And at some point, he decides to marry Bemi, the woman that he met at the restaurant, and end his relationship with Sylvia. So in this dream, he tells her, I'm getting married next Saturday. And she's like, I know that. She's in his mind, so she already knows. And she kind of tries to win him back over, and he's like, nah, this has to end. Things are different now. I made my decision. So she tries to give him the red hibiscus flower again, and he's like, nah, I'm not taking this. So she's left on the floor crying. And, once he's gone, her face raises and she has this vengeance. Like, all right, now it's on. Like, now you want to play. So, peace, Baba Anwar. Welcome. So, so she's like angry now. And in the words of Brother Lowe, he done pissed off his own. Oh, yeah. So now the movie gets hot and it don't stop. In that scene, they are wearing pink and blue, showing girl, boy, and the juvenile connection that Sylvia wants and the calm before the storm. Yep, I can definitely see that. Yep, because once she got angry, she didn't stop. So Richard, he's at his job, and he asks his assistant to call the florist and send his wife some flowers and deliver them to his job. And she asks, his assistant's name is Howell. And she asks, what kind of flowers? And he's like, let the florist surprise us. Pick anything. So that night, he comes home from work. His wife is cooking dinner, and he notices the flowers that was sent. And guess what? Flowers they were. It was those red hibiscus flowers, the ones that Sylvia would give him in his dreams. So he tells his wife, like, throw them out, get rid of it. And she's like, no, nothing's wrong with them, silly. Right? So it's pretty clear at this point that Sylvia is beginning to haunt him in his real life, but it's very subtle at this time. So now the next major point, Richard is having trouble with his job, and he goes to who he knows best, which is Sylvia, and she feels like, you only come to me if you need something, like the nerve of you. But she chose to help him anyway. And, her advice did fix the problems that he was having at his job. She basically said, boom, 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 and he did it and it worked out. So, not to give away too much, would those colors be backwards, as pink would be a derivative, or red and blue would be more feminine? I don't know. I'm not sure. Blue is more of a, I think blue is more of a low tone color. So it's more of like a sad color, I would say. They would use blue as, right? I thought the secretary's name was Hawa. Yep, it was Hawa. It was interesting because she was acting like a haw, blatantly coming on to him. Interestingly, with that red, blue color interplay, red is masculine and blue is feminine, but Richard wears blue throughout the film, and Sylvia acts as an almost masculine counterpart to his femininity. I agree, Brother Antonio. That's actually something that Brother Lowe pointed out that I'll touch on a little bit about, he wasn't a man, like he wasn't really manly in the movie. He wasn't really secured in his manhood. It's true. Okay, so not to give away too much, Richard's at the gym and he's like, I met a woman. I think, he's at the gym with his friend Obaro, and his friend is like, I met a woman and I think she's the one. And while they were working out, Richard sees a woman who looks like Sylvia on the treadmill. So he walks over, and as he gets closer, she's gone. But he sees the red hibiscus flower on the floor where he thought he saw her. So he looks back again and nothing's there. No Sylvia, no flower. So now he's like, all right, I got to get home. My mind is really messing with me. And he gets home and he tells his wife how Obaro met a woman. And she's like, I would love to meet her. And, she tells Richard some good news, right? So everyone's excited, so it seems. And Richard and his wife goes to dinner with Obaro to meet this woman. So she's a little late, and they're just sitting there at the table, and then boom, guess who pulls through? It's Cynthia, aka Sylvia. So she basically manifested herself now, and she changed her name to kind of, mess with Richard. So, well, I didn't even mention this part, but like Cynthia was actually already kind of friends with his wife because they were working she was working at her job, and then she started dating, the friend. Okay, so where am I? Okay, so after that dinner, Richard's sick. His mind is twisted. Like he's gone. He's off. Because Sylvia was doing some real sleazy stuff at the dinner. He was real sick. So, in the wise words of Brother Lowe, he said Richard was a punk. That part when Richard thought he saw her on the treadmill made me think that he actually did order the hibiscus flowers for his wife. Think so? Maybe. I didn't know. Okay, so so in the wise words of Brother Lowe, he was basically saying that Richard was a punk. He could have finessed it and had them both. He comes from a culture of polygamy where, he wasn't man enough to say, I need my spiritual wife and I need my physical wife, so, and he's like, now he done pissed off his Tinkerbell. Like he got his fairy upset, due to his cowardness because he wasn't being a man and he didn't know how to direct both of the women, where he wanted them both to be. because they were both, I guess useful to him, but he was being a coward. I thought that the treadmill. I thought that the treadmill was represented her running through his mind. That's a good analogy. Peace, Brother Low. Welcome. So yeah, Sylvia was doing her duties by supporting him. Okay. I feel like I'm going really fast, but forgive me. Okay, so boom, the next scene. Sylvia and his physical wife, Bemi, are friends. Sylvia and his physical wife, Bemi, are friends, and Sylvia's chilling in the house. So now she's in their house. So now he's really sick. So, that night, and, while she's at the house, she when the wife was in the kitchen, she kind of pushed up on Richard. So, like he's just off, completely off. And that night he talks to his wife, like, when they're in the room, like, she has to go. I don't want this woman in my house. Peace to you, Sequoia. Welcome. So yeah, he's like, I don't want this woman in my house. She has to go. And, they start arguing. I don't think Sylvia will go for that other woman being around, even if he did man up, as we learned later. That's true, Sister Monera. I agree, because she was very jealous. She was very, very jealous, and she didn't want no one else around him, no other woman. And that's kind of something that Brother Lowe also pointed out. He should have known what type of woman he was dealing with. Like, he should have known, who she was. So, because he would have noticed that she wasn't with anyone being around him. Peace, Ricochet. Welcome. Yes, very possessive, Sister Kashia. She really was. She was. And yes, Sister Shamanique, that's what happened. Okay, so that night, they go into the that night he talks to his wife, like, this woman gotta go. I don't want her in my house. And they start arguing. And the physical wife is like, why you don't want her here? What's the problem? Are you attracted to her? Like, what is the issue? And then he's just like, no, you don't listen. First I told you to get rid of the flowers, and now I'm telling you I want her out of the house. And then after a while, the wife was like, she's gonna leave tomorrow. She's spending the night. And then the wife went to bed. Okay, so I thought that too, Sister Monera, but he has been seeing her for a while, and she never said anything until he wanted to leave. Well, that's true. She worked through him to kill him. Yep, she did end up getting him to kill his own mother for her own, selfish reasons. But so yeah, in the words of Brother Lowe, Richard wasn't the head of his home. His physical wife was basically in rebellion. She wasn't listening to him. First, with the flowers, and then, telling her to get Sylvia out of the house. She was just like, I'm going to bed. Okay. So now we're creeping towards the end of the movie, and Richard's at work and he's giving a presentation, and Sylvia's really messing with his head. He's looking real crazy. He's like loony. He look crazy. So it's difficult for him to concentrate, and he kind of he goes to the bathroom after wilding out on one of his staff, and Sylvia's really taunting him. She's saying some wild things. Peace, E. Alderay. Welcome. So in the bathroom, like Sylvia's wilding, like she's going off, and she's like, let's just turn it up a notch. Your wife took the day off of work. She took the day off of work, and she's home today. Like, let's have a little fun, right? So he rushes home, and I don't want to give away too much, but people end up dead, and then Richard ends up in the psych ward. And the story finalizes, and the movie goes back to the beginning where Richard is talking to Nurse Karen, and he's telling, her his story. And he's like, you don't believe me. And Nurse Karen's like, nah, I believe you, because she was going to give you this. And, she said that she saw a lady who claimed she knew you. And you want to know, I think we all know what she pulled out the basket, which was that, red hibiscus flower. So then he freaks out and moves back in his chair. And he's like, he'd rather burn in hell. But to touch on the, the mother issue, we find out towards the end that, when he was going through his problems when he was younger, I guess, like he was, but since he was a kid, he was telling Sylvia, like, my mom is sick or whatever. And she's like, oh, yeah, there's these herbs that you can give to her to make her better. And, we learn at the end that the herbs that Sylvia gave him to give his mom, it actually killed her because she was just so jealous and possessive and didn't want no other woman to have an influence on him. So, yeah, let's see. I was thinking too, she didn't even want his mother around because she didn't like his mom had control of him. Yes, she was very possessive and selfish. Well, I'll say possessive. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so just some final notes and some takeaways. For me, are like, one, we need to be mindful of our thoughts, and two, be mindful of the people around us and their intentions. So in regards to being mindful of our thoughts, we should be careful of the type of spirits that we allow in our life, because they can manifest in the physical form and destroy you. Should I mention this? Okay, so what do I mean by, spirits can manifest in the physical? All right, so Chief has discussed how, how music releases certain spirits, and, those spirits can manifest physically through you. Why did she say he had to take the flower? Oh, well, Sister Monera, she thought that in order for him to come back, he had to have the flower. But like later on, she basically says, I realized that I don't need the flower in order for you to come back. She had to take the flower. Yeah, because hold on. Oh, okay, hold on. I'm trying to keep track. Yeah, so she thought that he had to take the flower in order for him to come back, but then she realized that it wasn't necessary. So that's why she kept giving it to him, but then realized she didn't need it when she kind of was able to manifest physically. Okay, Chief. Richard was disrespectful. His disrespectful woman manifested itself into this artificial form of Kali. Disrespectful. In what way? I guess probably the way that he treated Sylvia. He kind of like tossed her to the side once he found something. The flower was a symbol of him accepting the offer of that spiritual contract. It makes sense. At times, I was also convinced that Sylvia was a projection of Richard's mind, considering he was bonded with Sylvia from an early age. Yes, Sister Moksha, I agree. It's something that Brother Lowe had mentioned when I was speaking to him about it. He said that, the bond between Sylvia and Richard is like, the movie didn't basically flesh it out as much, but basically what he was saying, it was basically spiritual infidelity. So like Sylvia was the spiritual wife, and the wife Bemi, the physical wife, was basically his side chick. And he was Brother Lowe was basically saying that they were bonding, and they probably were having sex and things like that. So the movie didn't really stress any of that, but Brother Lowe's mind could kind of see through the the small things. I think she already figured out how to manifest herself. I don't know, Sister Kashia. I think that occurred after. I think she started. She thought that she couldn't, but once she got mad, I guess she was able to tap into certain parts of her that she didn't know. Why do you think he left Sylvia when she was the one giving him all the answers to help him rise to prominence in his field? You know, Brother Zach, I don't think she. I don't know. Something was wrong with him. Something was wrong with him. And I think that's something Brother Lowe said. You know, she was doing her wifely duties. You know, she was supporting him. She was that emotional support, and the actual wife wasn't really, you know, doing that. I guess he. Okay, to answer your question, Brother Zach, I think he probably had like a Western mindset where, okay, I need to just have one woman, and you know, that kind of messed him up and, you know, caused more problems. Spiritual thin line between love and hate. Was Richard an only child? He manifested a companion? Probably, Sister Kashia. The movie didn't touch on it. Probably. Because I know that happens a lot with only child. Okay. So exactly. He tossed it to the side heartlessly because he truly only used her. Yep. She appeared to serve him only, but when he began to argue with her about his separation, they became equals. Yeah. So that was it. Yeah, he definitely used her, and you know, she knew it. So I guess something that Brother Lowe said, like, he blindly trusted Sylvia, so that's why he was able to give him the herbs to give to his mother. Like, you know, she didn't even test it out. I mean, Richard didn't even test it out to see if, you know, the flowers, I mean, to see if the herbs were legitimate to give to his mother. He just trusted her. So, in that case, it's ironic that he kept telling Howard about boundaries. Right, Shami, for sure. Right? Boundaries. There is some compassion of Kali and the foolish destruction of Kali. He invoked the foolish destruction. The flower was her vagina. He was sexing her. Yeah, Brother Lowe said the same thing. Okay. I found it interesting that Sylvia described herself as the goddess Kali, which is the archetype of sexuality, violence, and motherly love. Yes, that is what Sylvia mentioned towards the end of the movie. Yeah. They were intimate for sure. There was more than one way to be intimate. Yep, Sis Kashia, that's for sure. Yep, doesn't even have to be sexual. With Sylvia, he was Eastern-minded. With Femi, he was a Euro wearing blackface. Even the way they spoke and flirted was very non-African. Interesting. Well, I guess that was, you know, I felt like his job too was very Western, you know, the advertising and, you know, that mindset. So she embodied all three. Yeah, killed his mother and took that role. Okay, so could we say that she did him a favor by putting the murder one on his mother to try and have him man up? I don't know. She did him a favor. Maybe she. I think, Brother Zach, I think Sylvia was just testing her limits to see how far she could go with him. Like, because, like we said, you know, she knew that he was using her. You know, she was fully aware of it. So she, you know, I guess she was just seeing her limits. Like, how much are you really going to do what I say? You know, rather than actually be the man and say, hold up, what is this? You know? That's actually a false representation of Kali that feminists have pushed. Kali is the epitome of the over-emotional individual who causes destruction as a result and then regrets it. Okay. Yeah, I didn't catch any regret in Sylvia at the end of the movie, so I guess that's not exactly what Kali is. He was rubbing her feet and she wasn't even pregnant. No, she was pregnant at that time, Brother Lowe, I think. Oh, no, that was before. Yeah, that was before. Mama Tracie, which woman did you relate to more? Um, Probably Sylvia. Only because of that heartbreak, you know. It's that heartbreak and just getting angry. Yeah, that's probably me. Because I kind of, when I first saw the movie, I felt really bad for Sylvia. I was like, wow, that was cold. You know, he was really cold to her. So yeah, I'll probably relate to Sylvia more. Yeah, well, that's the filmmaker trying to get that crossover appeal. Chopping off heads of all her lovers and crying about being lonely. The Kali in the movie was the Neo Euro one that most people think is authentic. Mm, gotcha. I'm not too familiar with any of the Hindu gods or goddesses, but from watching this movie, I did learn a little bit about Kali, but I didn't really dig deep into it. So it's interesting. Thank you. Many women were attracted to Richard, but he was set on having only one woman, which I think plays into why women get so crazy. He could have been with all of them: Sylvia, Hawa, and Bemi. Yep, sister. Sister Sequoia, Sequoia. It's funny because brother Lowe was like, if he was mature in his manhood, he could have had a place for all of them. If his pimping was solid, but he didn't have control of the crowd. He couldn't calm the situation down. Everything was just going haywire because he didn't know how to handle all of the women. They also tried to throw in. Yes. Oh my God, Sister Manera, that part. Oh my God, I didn't even. I actually wasn't sure if I wanted to even do this movie because of that one scene with the homo stuff, and I was like, that's just mad unnecessary. Like that just got me tight. It got me tight too. I didn't even want to do the review, and then Brother Lowe was like, "It's okay, just you don't even have to mention it." And I was like, "Okay," because I hated that scene. Yeah, I peeped that. Bartenders and Legos pushing. Yeah, that was just weird. It's just that Western mindset, man. I was just like, that wasn't even necessary. He was so emotionally unstable. She was able to ride into the third dimension reality through his emotions. Interesting. Interesting. Wow. Okay. So through his emotions, she was able to get into the physical realm. That's crazy. Whoa. I'm still wondering why all those women wanted Richard, because he was all over everywhere. Yeah, well, was he an alpha male though? I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know. Because probably not. Maybe he had the idea of what an alpha man was. He had this great job, and he was making money and things like that. So I guess women are attracted to men in power. So I guess him having this good position and being so young and having all these good new ideas, women wanted him. He was no alpha. Okay, no alpha. Okay. So could we say that this would be an example of what Chief said, mixing culture is like mixing organisms. One will fight for dominance. So I guess with the two women, Sylvia would be the more cultured, and Bemi would be the more Euro, right? So I guess, yeah. That's why she picked him from the youth. Emotions. He used her even for homework help. He was always looking for the easy way out. Magic. Yeah. Yeah, and it's also something, Chief, that Brother Lowe touched on. He was like, when we touch and tap into the magic, right? We're not clear about basically saying like it could harm you, or it can't. So you need to be clear, like, please don't harm me, or make sure it doesn't harm me. But people will sometimes blindly go into rituals and they don't even, understand that it could harm you, if you don't know what you're doing. So that's kind of like Richard, he tapped into her. Sylvia was messing, I guess, testing him and all that stuff as a youth, right? So, yeah, okay. Maybe the person came in. No, Alpha, okay. He wouldn't have been leaning on a spirit like that if he was. Plus, he still peed the bed. That's funny. He was emotionally unstable because he spent his whole life being led and guided by a woman. That's true. That's very true. That's true. That makes sense. Woman probably was attracted to him for his emotional naiveness and saw that he was an easy mark. That's possible. Yeah, wow. I never thought of these things. Cool. Great point. Iya Sequoia. Right. There was no mention of Richard's father. Wow, I didn't even catch that. And you know what that means? When the father is not around, sometimes men will pick up feminine tendencies. So that's a great point. And balance, a lot of feminine energy. Right. It's Kashia. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Too much starch, brother, though. Too much starch. Water before the bed. He was not clear on what the course was to be. The water before the bed was the libation. Then it came tears, then sex, then human sacrifice. Interesting. Yeah, so he was playing with powers that he wasn't, too sure of. So messed him up. So yeah, I wanted to touch on the, the being mindful of our thoughts. So, Chief has discussed how music, releases certain spirits, and, those spirits can like manifest physically. There was a moment in time where I used to listen to Neely Fuller Jr., on a regular. And, in one segment, he discussed jukeboxes and like how in the 30s and the 40s, people put the coin in and music would play. And, he would observe people's reactions when certain songs will come on. So like when certain songs were played, there were bar fights and like violence would break out. Glass was thrown and fighting and all this kind of stuff. So it's like whatever spirit was released from that music, it manifested through someone else in the physical. So that's what I was thinking was kind of what it was with Richard and Sylvia. Okay, where am I? Hold on. Females dictated his life. He centered his world around them. Yeah, he did. His mother, Bemi, and what was the other one? And Sylvia, yeah. And he always woke up at 6 a.m. Yep, the number 6. Yeah, I did notice the alarm. Huh. Brother Antonio, I didn't catch that. Didn't one of his brothers wake him up and say you can sleep for all of Africa? Well, that's interesting. So I guess that could imply that he was really in this deep, I guess, this really deep, he was having a good time with Sylvia that he couldn't even break out of it, So, Obaro said that. Okay. So, yeah, so what do you think was the significance of always meeting Sylvia in the woods? Good point. I didn't think about that. Maybe, nature, when I think of nature, I think of, air, freedom, breath. Like, so maybe she was that freedom for him, maybe. I could be totally wrong, but woods represent the subconscious mind. Okay. I think, okay, could be. Could be. Did anyone peep the bamboo in the tree? No, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Right. Yeah, six to Moksha, the sleeping. Just indicating how deep he was in it with Sylvia. In native spiritual culture of Western Africa, the woods represent the place of meditation. The woods is called the silent space. It is the underworld in tradition. Ah, okay. Ooh, thanks, Chief. So the woods is the underworld. Ooh. So that's where he was meeting Sylvia. Okay, so yeah, so the second thing I want to just touch on for my own little notes is Sylvia had her own intentions by being friends with Richard's physical wife Bemi and dating his friend, which was to torment Richard. And according to Brother Lowe, Richard's intentions for Sylvia weren't good either. He was always using her. So, not everyone's intentions are pure. Not everyone who you think is there for you really are, because people have their own motives. So you should always question why, because why questions purpose. Chief said once that, you should question, why is this person in my life and who sent this person here, the creator or someone else? So and Chief also said before that, you come into the planet with certain spirits already with you. So it's why was Sylvia there? Was she there to really guide him, or, kind of just, I think she was there to guide him, but he just didn't understand. Yes, when he went back after their blowout, she was surrounded in bamboo. That was when he went into her lair. That was pulling her forward. Richard always had on white too when he went to the forest. I didn't catch that. Yes, Sequoia. It's pretty cool. Okay, so my last part. So in some, not all spirits or people that come to you are there to help you or guide you, even if it seems they are. It doesn't matter how long they've been in your life. People have their own intentions. So be mindful of the spirits and the people you allow to fester and grow in your thoughts. And you can do so by sourcing the why, who put you here and why. I saw the bamboo as a shield or closed in protection. Normally they met in the open of the land, different intentions. Yes, that makes sense for sure. Thanks, guys. You guys basically explained the movie in so many different angles of things that I didn't even catch. So I think that was pretty cool. From the colors, the no father, the unnecessary scenes, Kali, just so much. So that was cool. Is that you, Arlene? Hi, Arlene. Why my voice get so high? Okay. Why do you think his wife was so trusting of this strange woman? Well, Sylvia was actually working at her job. So they kind of was building their own relationship on the side, because when they went to the dinner, she realized oh my gosh, that's Cynthia. That's the new teacher that's at my job. So they kind of was forming their own relationship through their job. And then when she found out, his best friend is basically, dating this woman, that she automatically felt yeah, we're good. She's a part of the family, I guess. I'm waiting for Tracie to say my name is Elion. I don't get it. Elia. Elia. I'm confused. Okay. Yes, Kashia, 6 is the number of man / the beast, but I am positive it was a satanic representation here, just because of that Nigerian hyper Christian culture. Let's review. Thanks, Sister Shamanique. Appreciate it. Thank you. 6 also means sin or imperfection as well. Thanks, Sister Kashia. Thanks. Sylvia was a seductress. She knew how to play on everyone's wants. She even fed into Bemi's rebellion. Remember, Bemi said that all the guys were falling over her at the job. Yes. Sylvia definitely had a way to suck people in. She's got Bemi. She got Obaro, even Richard as a child. From childhood, she knew how to draw people in. Yeah, that's a great point, Chief. The mom from Coming to America. Fun fact about Salvador Dali. It was said he had a technique where he would sit in a chair with a metal spoon in his hand, holding it over a plate. He would try to utilize the space between. Okay, let me try and visualize it. Okay. Sit in a chair, metal spoon, holding it over a plate. Interesting. Yes, Brother Antonio, the artist. Yes. That Salvador Dali was the quote in the beginning of the movie. When you're asleep in this world, you're awake in another. Yes, Sylvia gave everyone what they fantasize. Yes. You're precious. Yeah, she definitely knew how to one, I guess, make people trust her, and then two, make people fall for her and trust her. She had that charm about her. Coming to America, that was the name of the queen. Okay. Got you, Brother Lowe. That's why she kept switching up those wigs. Oh, yeah, that was a good point. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So I guess the changing of the wigs, she was able to manipulate or, I guess, depending on who the person was, she knew how to draw them in based on changing up the hairs. Makes sense. The dream world and walking life. As he dozed off, the spoon would slip out of his hand, click on the plate, waking him up. He would then draw the first thing he saw. Pretty cool. That's interesting. Brother Antonio, it probably reminds me of kind of sleeping with like a notepad next to you, and then like whatever thoughts come to you, kind of just write down the first thing that comes to your mind. Cool. I was waiting for some colored hair to come out sooner or later. Would that be like the Matrix scene? Oh yeah, was that the first Matrix with the spoon and the kids? No, I think okay. No, I'm gonna just be quiet. Let's see. They saw what she wanted them to see. Exactly. Sister Kashia, for sure. Yeah. She definitely knew. I guess she knew people enough, well, the different types of people. She knew enough of what to do to kind of get them to see what she wanted them to see. That's true. She was wearing a lot of red. That was in the red dress. Color red. Yes. Precious mom. Yes. She satisfied everyone's unreal desires, perhaps even allowing the wife to get pregnant only to take it all away. Yeah, that was sad. I don't think I touched on that, but yeah, the wife was pregnant. Switching up the wigs was appealing to all to get them to engage. In Dream World, she had a natural. Right, that's true, Chief. Yeah, in the when she manifested in the physical world or the third dimension, she didn't really she didn't wear her natural hair. She always had on wigs. That's interesting. Aside of that, she had to hide the head, the real intention. It makes sense. Interesting. This film shows the power of a destructive female, emotionally immature female. Yeah, this movie definitely had a lot of hidden messages, way more than I thought. This is so cool. No, I think the scene Brother Zach is talking about was in the Matrix. What I remember was when the little boy was like twisting back the spoon, but I don't remember anything else. Maybe I'm wrong. Sylvia was a monster, literally. She had to get people to engage the monster in order to demonically possess them. This is the basis of a nightmare. Yeah, she definitely was a force. You know, she wasn't stopping. Like she was just going on and on and on. She was pretty ruthless. She was pretty ruthless. But yeah, you know, if anyone has any other comments or statements, I think I'm pretty much done. I think I covered it. Okay. A Barrow team possessed by her. Yeah. Sister Deidre, she definitely he was definitely under her spell. A lot of people were. You know, a lot of people, even Bemi, the wife, right? She definitely lost in Sylvia's charm. Well, what was her power? That was slit Abaro's neck. Everything else people asked for or did themselves. She only persuaded. Still only spirit. That's true. Because even when Richard when he went to stab her, you know, like she didn't actually, like he didn't stab her. He like really stabbed the wife. So it's like she kind of was pulling people where she wanted them to go, like what to do, you know? Okay. Why did I choose this movie? Well, I saw it a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, but my spirit just told me, because like I was just on Netflix and I was just in the mood for a movie, and I was just scrolling, and then it was just something about the picture, I guess, or like I was drawn to it, so then I just watched it. So I mean, no real reason. I think this is probably like my first Nollywood film, so I just went into it. Someone asked about his job. Creative people are more susceptible to nightmares. Trauma tends to amplify the effect of a nightmare, as well as his mother dying. Creative people are more susceptible to nightmares. That's interesting. Richard ended up in a mental hospital. At the end, he lost his freedom. Even at the end, Sylvia still had control. Do you think there was a way he could break free from Sylvia? Good question. I don't know. I feel like, you know, it was over once she kind of got everyone out of his life, and you know he was already in the, you know, in the psych ward, so he couldn't really be free. So I think in that sense, because I had the same question, Ia Sequoia, because I'm like, you know, does she still even haunt his dreams? Does she like mess up, like is she in his mind, in his spirit? And you know, Brother Lowe was like, you know, the job is already done, you know, he already he's already ruined. So you know, I guess maybe the flower, the offering, was trying to pull him back in, because you know, in the movie it seemed like, you know, she wasn't bothering him anymore, because he was shocked when, you know, the nurse was like, here's the flower. So maybe he did kind of break free, but you know. So she could only stab or borrow because they were intimate. I'm not sure. She could only stab or borrow. Well, I guess she was physical. She did manifest herself, because you know they knew who she was. So I mean, I guess she was able to stab, but she also still had her spirit powers. Probably shows how disconnected others really are to allow such corruption as Sylvia. Abara was lonely. Bemi just wanted to have friends. Nothing was questions, no vetting of character. Yeah, I agree. He didn't lose freedom to me. He chose freedom by staying in there. Good point. I guess free from Sylvia messing with his mind. Or I guess the being in the psych ward limited Sylvia's access to him. So yeah, Precious, I could agree. I was wondering why she didn't reveal herself at the hospital. Yeah, I don't know, Sister Monero. Would you say that she only came over because Richard brought her when he went to see her by using the hibiscus flower? Meaning Richard was her main food source? I'm not sure of the question, Brother Antonio. I'm not sure. Richard brought her when he went to see her. I'm not sure. He spilled his guts to a big-chested nurse. Oh my gosh. He was still leaning on and dependent on women. Sylvia's spirit was still firmly in place, as that was her entry point. Which was on his emotions. Oh, Chief, that makes sense. That makes sense. So basically, by him, I guess, expressing himself to a woman again, she was able to sneak in through his emotions, like you said, like come back into his world whenever he's emotionally open or emotionally unstable. She is still in control by giving him a choice. Maybe I'm looking at it all wrong though. Where am I? She has nothing to bribe him with or take from him, but she still can't have him, so he won. I don't know. Well, but I guess maybe you could look at it two ways. She won too because now there's no woman in his life other than this nurse, so she gotta back up. Speaking of the nurse, oh my gosh, Brother Lowe. Oh my gosh, I can't. She stated she was an artist and he was her canvas. Yes, Arlene. She was she was going to tear him up, make him whatever she wanted him to be, except for with her, because she just didn't get that. Word! It was a psych ward full of men. Huh. If Richard doesn't believe in her or give her attention, she has no real power. He's her host. Right. This is Kashia. He really wasn't straight. Oh yeah, that is a good point. Sequoia, he was old towards the end of the movie. He was old. So yeah, he was. She did reveal herself. The nurse was her. The nurse had those. Oh my God. Huh. The nurse was her. The nurse was Sylvia, Chief? I think so. Huh. She was the spirit of Sylvia. So then who was the one that gave her the flower? So, okay, interesting. In the end, she was still making him an offer. Yes, she was. The statement that people say, love will make you do wrong when you want to do right. Would that fit Richard and his idea of what love is? I mean, did he do wrong? Or are you referring to Sylvia? Love, made her do wrong, even though she wanted to help him, but, she just wanted him for herself. Since she lost, Richard. He chose freedom. Okay, all right, so Sister Kashia thinks that she lost, and Ia Precious thinks that she lost, and Brother Lowe says she didn't lose, if you ask me, because she can seduce the next dummy in their dreams. Okay, so I guess she still has her power. Yeah, that's true. She could lure people in. Though Richard created that contract with Sylvia, how did Bemi's rebelliousness help to perpetrate discord in the home? How did Bemi's rebelliousness? Well, I don't know. That's a good question, Sister Moksha. Like, what if, Bemi was more supportive with Richard, and like he's saying, okay, throw out the flowers, maybe Sylvia wouldn't have been able to continue to have control over him. Yeah, because if she just listened to him, maybe, Sylvia, that would have helped Sylvia kind of push her way out. He is Sequoia. He didn't choose freedom. He chose to still lean on women, which is true. You are thinking Sylvia is one individual. She's not. She's a spirit that possesses many people, even concurrently. Every man in there went crazy over the woman, like Sylvia on the job. That's a good point, Chief. Interesting. Every man in there went crazy. And the fact that it's a psych ward full of men. That's a great point. Sylvia can possess women too. Yeah, because technically she possessed Bemi. Yeah, the wife. She didn't submit to Richard at all. Nope. Wow. So, okay. So I guess what you guys are saying, the spirit of what Sylvia is has led all those men into like the mental institution, into the psych ward. Is that interesting? Yeah, the wife should have shut it down. Yeah, I agree, Sister Precious. Yeah, Precious. Like, why is she spending the night? Like, we could go do wedding plans some other day. That was just too much. He should just. I don't know why she wasn't listening. She's bugging. It's a psych word for her victims, like Medusa's lair with all the statues. Yeah, that's a good point, Brother Lowe. This is the 21st century. You can't tell me what to do. Yeah. Richard had nothing left to lose, but he refused to go on living. So he basically unleashed Sylvia onto the world through him, feeding her his attention. That's what I meant about her being her food source. Okay. Richard invited the control over him. He had to make a decision. He didn't even until the end. She was defiant and disrespectful. Yep. Everyone loved the nurse's tots. Oh my gosh. I can't. I can't. Like Adam who got lost over Eve. Oh my gosh. I can't with y'all. That's what I'm saying. They were children to her, just as the children at the school. It was a foreshadowing. She's always going to invade the intelligence through emotion. So that's how she was able to control her victims, like Bemi and Obaro. So I guess she would find an opening with the emotions. Oh my gosh, that makes sense. I just had a click. Okay. Hey, you invited her in here. Hey. I can't do that. Okay. So I think if no one has anything else to say, I think that's the end. I think that was really, really, really fun. This was cool. This is a side note. So next week, Brother Lowe is gonna be reviewing a movie, and the movie is V for Vendetta, and you can find that movie on Netflix as well. And it's gonna be next week, Thursday, December 10th at 8:30 p.m. So yeah, we'll look forward to that. You did an awesome work here. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it. Thank you. Hold on, another queen ship. All of them was her sons. Oh my gosh, Brother Lowe. Yeah, she definitely had control over a lot of men. So, yeah. Thanks, Sister Kashia, Brother Antonio. You're precious. Sister Shamanique. Thanks, Brother Zach. Dear Arlene. Dear Sequoia. Well, thanks, Brother Lowe, for actually putting me out there because I would not have done this. But thank you. Appreciate you. The movie was a great pick, and so was your breakdown. Thank you. And thank everybody who's here because you guys definitely help pull from so many different angles. And I was like, wow, I didn't even peep that. So I understand the movie on a much deeper level from this. That was great. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, Sister Manera. Thanks, Sister Deidre. Thanks everyone for, coming through. Sister Maksha. Yeah, Alderay. Yeah, you should see it. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. Cool. Okay. All right, everyone. So remember next week, Brother Lowe, V for Vendetta is on Netflix, 8:30 p.m. December 10th. So be there or be squared. All right. Good night, everyone. Peace.